Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight's session. Just some housekeeping before we get started. It is now 19:04. We'll probably kick off the presentation within the minute. And so, just to highlight, we'll be doing a presentation tonight on the Lumi digital currency, the African digital currency revolution, as championed by the state of the African diaspora, the ECO6 region. So, please be aware of that. That's what our presentation will be on. Furthermore, during the presentation, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to use the chat functionality. Um, just before we get started, I will just ask everybody if you can just head over to the chat and greet us and let us know where you're joining from so that we know what the chat functionality is. Over and above that, while you are doing that, please note that the session tonight will be recorded. Then just quickly heading over to the chat. I am not seeing any messages from anybody as yet. Um, if you can just locate your chat and just let us know where you're joining from. Okay, I see Hazel's message. Hello, everyone. I'm listening from Pretoria, South Africa. Welcome, Hazel.
Hello,
Uh,
my name is Lucia Nkosi. I'm from Orange Farm, Johannesburg.
welcome, Lucia. Uh, welcome, Tabang and Tapelo. Um, so, without any further ado, I'm just going to hand over to Moa to just start the presentation. And if in the meantime, just familiarize with yourselves with the controls, so you know where to find the chat for the time we are doing Q&A. Without any further ado, over to you, Moa.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. We are going to be kickstarting the presentation, and as indicated, we will speak to issues of the African Revolution, and I will just start with my presentation. Thank you very much, Lerato, and thanks to everyone who's joining us from all countries. We acknowledge and respect that you're making time to join us. And we will speak to ECO6 formation and how that builds into Africa's development path, Lumi digital currency, and Africa's development. We'll also speak about SWIFIN account for free and SWIFIN account demonstration. Hopefully we'll do that. And if you look at these elements, they are elements of a revolution, because any revolution that doesn't talk to economy, then it is still would be dependent on someone else to enable it. To kickstart, African Union has got 5 economic regions that were established in 1991 through the Abuja Treaty. These 5 economic communities, among others, it's ECOWAS and SADC as an example. We belong to SADC in the south, and ECOWAS is in the east. And on 1st August 2019, another economic community was born, that is the ECO6, or the 6th economic region, composed of communities of states, nations, territories, and realms of the African diaspora. It composes of 300 million people, including 6,000 indigenous communities through the Americas. And in March 2018, African heads of states met in Kigali, Rwanda, to go establish African continental free trade. This is as a result of a decision to try and make Africa one, to enable Africa to trade with itself. And these economic communities would find expression in playing within the free trade agreement.
Why is it that a continent so rich in minerals, water, and fertile soil, we are counted among the beggars? Why?
Now, these are very deep problems. They are deep seated, but they are actually extremely deep, and we want to just underscore that.
Do you believe that the government of France has a lot of control over a number of African nations with their former colonies? They have significant control over all of their former colonies, specifically 14 of them. Just to give you the highlights of what they did when they were giving the independence, so to speak, to their former colonies. They forced them to sign a document which they are calling the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. You have to understand, on one hand, they are saying we're giving you independence, which turned out to be mostly political independence, but that you also have to sign this document, which is titled the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. So you're going to be independent, but you have to agree to continue to be colonized. So two countries said absolutely not. We're not going to sign those that document. Those two countries? Mali and Guinea. Okay. And what the French did, they went into those two countries, took everything that they thought they had brought to those two economies, poured concrete into sewage pipes, and completely devastating the two economies. This was done as a way of letting the other countries know that if you do not sign this document, this is the fate that awaits you.
Now, mapping Africa's economic wealth in minerals, petroleum, natural gases, rich, productive land, and livestock, you see how that Africa, if we look only at minerals, it's mapped out as petroleum-rich countries, which most of them are former colonial countries, former colonies of France. Now, this map also gives us another view of Africa's clear mapping of mineral resources. All these resources are harvested by the foreign powers. As an example, 75% of all platinum in the world comes from South Africa and Zimbabwe combined.
For me, when I'm watching on television and I find our leaders who should have been working together all along to address these problems that commonly affect their countries, wait until they are invited to go to Europe, sit there and just it's like they are made to sit down and address their problems. Why does anybody wait for that? What image does it even give about us, about Africa? In fact, the image it gives is that we are not there to even address these problems. We are there for a photo opportunity.
Now, it is suggested that Africa loses an estimate of more than 40 billion USD per year. This is huge. And these monies go out of Africa, and we still have Africa as a poor continent. It makes no sense. Now, Africa's time is now, and the next slides tell us of a great reset opportunity as led by ECO6, which is under the leadership of His Royal Highness Chief Timothy McPherson, the state of the African diaspora under the leadership of Prime Minister His Excellency Dr. Louis Georgeston, and Queen Sheba III, Her Imperial Majesty the Empress and head of the Royal Kingdoms Federation, African Continent Throne of Sheba Royal Kingdoms Nation, and many other titles that she actually holds. Now, ECO6 or Sixth Economic Region is headed by the chairman, His Royal Highness Chief Timothy McPherson on the left, with a leader of African Union.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sharon Chung, and I am the Minister of Family and Social Economy for the state of the African diaspora.
Now, we presented three institutions: the Royal House, the State of the Economic, the Sixth Economic Region. Three, we are also presenting a government, which is the state of the African diaspora, where Dr. Cheryl serves under Dr. Tin, and the other two, which are three powerful institutions coming together. Now, Imperial Majesty Queen Sheba III is leading a huge campaign to reverse and eradicate Africa's debt, and I can share those links with you if you want to listen to an interview she held on SABC Channel 404 and Newsroom Africa.
Our sun. It has been burning for over 4.5 billion years, and yet it is still less than halfway through its life. Worshipped by many civilizations and religions, it is the enabler and sustainer of all life on our world. The great continent of Africa. Truly, it is the cradle of life on our planet, and today it is home to many people and cultures. Bathed in sunlight, its jungles, deserts, mountains and plains have given rise to, and support, a rich diversity of wildlife. Africa is also rich in precious metals, minerals and agricultural resources, which have given rise to the wealth of industries and nations. But this wealth has not been wholly to the benefit of the nations of Africa, as this excerpt, from a speech by Madam Smart Williams, from Sierra Leone, suggests. One thing that keeps me puzzled, despite having studied finance and economics at the world's best universities, the following question remains unanswered. Why is it that 5,000 units of our currency is worth 1 unit of your currency, where we are the ones with the actual gold reserves? With all its mineral wealth, plus the abundance of daily sunlight, Africa has the ability to become an economic powerhouse. And this starts with creating a unifying, global non-fiat currency, one with real intrinsic value. Introducing the African Kingdom's Lumi, a non-fiat digital currency that is underwritten by an established unit value, equating to 100 kilowatt-hours of solar energy, and a market value equal to 0.2592 grams of gold, which equates to $15.96 per AK Lumi. The AK Lumi is classic money with the following features. 1. It is a store of value. 2. It is a unit of account. And 3. It is a medium of exchange. It is interesting to note that the most valuable currencies in the world are not the US dollar or the euro, but the Kuwaiti dinar, the Bahraini dinar, and the Omani riyal. This is because these semi-fiat currencies are underpinned by a correlation between their monetary policies and their hydrocarbon-based economies. The AK Lumi, being underpinned by gold and/or renewable solar energy, thus abandons the fiat currency system altogether and establishes its value as a premium currency on the global market, whilst restoring real value to African monetary policy. On the 1st of August 2019, the Economic Community of States, Nations, Territories and Realms of the African Diaspora Sixth Region, or ECO6, was established by treaty and ratified by its member states. The ECO6 has become the second largest African institution in the world, after the African Union. The establishment of the ECO6 enables the African diaspora community to actively participate in the economic transformation, trade integration, and emancipation of continental Africa at a global level. The introduction of the AK Lumi as a single global African currency will stimulate unprecedented economic growth and the elimination of debt. As of April 2021, the AK Lumi was being used in some 142 countries, and by the beginning of 2022, it is expected that the adoption and use of the digital currency will become global. The AK Lumi will not only unite Africans across the continent and throughout the diaspora, but will also give them the financial freedom and respect that has been unrighteously usurped for too long. The economic revolution has already begun, and it will ultimately foster enhancements in business, international trade, employment, quality of life, education, health services, technology, communications and transportation. And so the goal of a prosperous Africa, built by Africans, For Africans can finally be realized. The African kingdoms Lumi, bringing unity, self-determination, financial freedom, growth, prosperity, and the elimination of debt to all people of Africa.
Now, the future is definitely digital, and central banks, digital currencies in different countries are in pilot stages as we speak, including South Africa, Madagascar. Already, Ghana has launched its pilot. Now, G7 plans common CBDCs principles, reiterates global stablecoin cooperation. This is news of 7 June. And digital currencies in Britain, the US they're still considering and thinking and strategizing. And Ghana has already launched its study, and Mauritius is piloting, including South Africa. China has launched their own. This is good news for Africans because Lumi, which is African owned, is actually already in people's wallets. This means that the first in everything, such as the US and Britain, are now the last in digital currency as Africa is leading the way. It is for this reason that we want to encourage as many people in large numbers in Africa, across the continent and outside the continent of Africa, as long as you are African 18 years and above, that you register for a Swifin account. Your family members and the rest of communities, neighbors around, and individuals or companies can apply. It is free of charge, no charge. And you also secure a CFIN ID, which qualifies you to receive 6.2 Lumi, an equivalent of 100 US dollar, on the 28th of each month until 2023 October. This is not free money, as this is money extracted from the budget meant for marketing. Now, this is money that is supposed to be paid to marketing companies. The decision was, let's rather give it to Africans who are going to be using word of mouth, which is an African indigenous system or knowledge or wisdom. Now, companies that register, if you've got a business account, you are entitled to a loan of a minimum of 10,000 US dollars equivalent that is payable, and it should be before 2023, and this is interest free. But importantly, when you give somebody money, you must enable them to be able to use that money and find value in that money. That's why there's an online marketplace that is being set up, but there's also multiple ecosystems of setting up marketplaces locally and otherwise, so that Africans can transact and interact among each other and circulate this Lumi among them. It is for these reasons that we want to answer the next questions as an
I want to tell
experience.
you a little bit about my experiences with the Lumi. I registered in October and was able to get my first stimulus. And so I have been collecting my stimulus for October, November, December, January, and today I got my stimulus for February. And so I have all of that money accumulated in my virtual wallet. That's the equivalent of 500 US dollars in Lumi, the best currency in the world.
Now, how do I register myself? Please take us through.
Okay, so it's an easy, simple process that anybody can do. So whether you're an iOS user or Android user, you can download the Eco6 Lumi application from your iStore or from your Play Store. It is that green heart against that gold background. You can get it on your mobile device and register from there. Else, you can go onto your computer, your laptop, your tablet, and go onto the link platform.swifin.com, and at the top right you will see the register button. Then you'll need to click register and proceed with your registration. Prior to proceeding with your registration, we recommend that you take a pictures or put your documentation in order first. And some of this documentation will include a picture of the details portion of your identity document, a selfie of a picture of your face, as well as the details page of your identity document, and the back of your identity document. If your identity document is actually a ID book, please note that by the back we mean the front cover page of your identity document, where it states the country of issue for that particular identification document. Then from there on, you can go ahead and proceed with your registration. Enter your names as they appear on your identification document, enter your email address, and click next. Then you will need to decide whether you are opening a business account or an individual account. If you are opening a business account, additional documentation will be required, and this is documentation that is pertaining to your company registration as well as your company proof of address. So those two documentation will be required over and above the initial documentation we spoke about. So once you have selected which account you are going to be registering for, then you can proceed with your registration. Then you will need to capture your mobile number according to the international dialing standard. So, for example, if you are in South Africa, the international dialing code for South Africa is +27. So if you are here, then you'll use that. Then you'll enter the local currency, your local currency in that field. You enter the country from which you are in. If you're in Swaziland, for example, you'll capture Swaziland. Then for under member institution, if you're on the African continent, you will need to enter SWIFIN Limited Uganda. SWIFIN Limited Uganda is the member institution we use on the African continent. Then you can proceed and upload a profile picture, as well as select a username and a password. Please note that these are the credentials you will use to log into the platform going forward. Then you will proceed from here. Move the screen. Then you proceed from
I
here
think I'm stuck.
and capture your address. And if you are registering for a business account, please note that this address needs to be the same as the address on the document that pertains to the address for a proof of address that you will be uploading as part of this, and then enter the country from which you are registering as well as your date of birth. Then you will need to proceed and capture upload the documents that you had taken pictures of: the front of the ID, the selfie with the front of the ID, the back of the ID, as well as your ID number as it appears on your ID documentation. Then you will need to capture your referrer SWIFIN ID. Once you remember, this is the ID of the person who has referred you to the platform, who has introduced you to this African digital currency revolution. You will enter their SWIFIN ID, and you will enter the person who recommended you, which will probably be the same person, and how you heard about this movement. At this point, you would have successfully registered yourself. You will be issued with a SWIFIN ID of your own, which you can give to other people that you will refer to this platform, and they will use that for their registration purpose. Your email address, your mobile number, and your login credentials will be displayed to you. At this point, your account will be in a pending state. Uh, please note that with the amount of registrations that are currently going on and the amount of people we need to reach on the African continent, there is a bit of a backlog in terms of getting the accounts approved. So please exercise patience and note that you will continue to receive your stimulus even though your account is in a pending state. And with on that note, welcome aboard. Back to you.
Okay, so does it mean all our problems are solved? And I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
And the answer is a big no. We have to construct multiple livelihood ecosystems in production of food, manufacturing, engineering, retail, transport, literacy, and all other important sectors of society, including knowledge and knowledge production, mobility, community development, and so on. But the most important thing is, what are you doing as well to help this revolution? You need to decide to avail your own products and services, your intellectual property that you have, to be available in Lumi. And importantly, no one is coming to do this for us. It is our direct responsibility.
So now my purse doesn't only have 500 Lumi in it, because I have been selling my products and my services and my books in Lumi on my site. I just go on the Swiffing platform, and my friends who know what I sell, who are also registered for the Lumi, have asked, can I pay them in? I said, absolutely. I would prefer to save Lumi than any other currency in the world, because it's going to continuously increase in value. So I do therapeutic products. I am a disease reversal specialist. And so I have products for the reversal of every known disease. These I have developed over probably 20, 30 years. And the basis to this is moringa. So let me give you a little tip there. And then I have books that I have published. They're on Amazon, but I prefer to sell them on the Swiffing platform in Lumi to my friends. So I sell my books, I sell my products, and I also sell my services. I consult as a disease reversal specialist and also as a psychotherapist.
Now, the important question or the announcement tonight is to invite you to join the Queen's Court that sits every Monday. And the commitment by the Queen and Chief Timothy McPherson is to attend and host these meetings every single Monday until 2023 October. And I can share the details of this meeting. This is one of the most powerful meetings, as the next person tells us.
Mr. Mbele. The session was power packed. I even got myself 7 Lumi coins. Thank you so much for the exposure. I really, really appreciate it. I feel grateful. This is big, Mr. Mbele. One Africa, no poverty, inclusion, and everybody's got an opportunity to participate, whether it be growing their own businesses, access to funding. Let's start using this Lumi platform. Let's start using it. Let's not stop talking about it. Let's teach our people. Each and every member of our families must have this. Each and every person, must have this. We must drive this. One Africa. Ay, man. Oh, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you for the exposure. It was a wonderful one. We just got out of a meeting now.
Now, I'm not going to try and demonstrate the Swiffing platform. Rather, let me do it if it's a question that arises and I'll have to switch to my cell phone, as I've been having challenges to access my account. I hand back over to you, Lerato, after announcing that we are present on social media. Check us on Facebook, Africa Lumi Digital Currency, YouTube. There's Mindshift Educational talk and videos playing there by Vanto dash Lumi if you search that. And also, please visit lumi.africa slash Lumi City. This is a platform that is enabling us to establish some of the ecosystems and other services that can help us benefit from Lumi. Thank you very much. I hand back over to you.
Thank you
I
so much, Moa. Thank you for the insightful presentation. So, I think at this point we will just move into the Q&A, and I will then ask if anybody can use the chat functionality to ask any questions or comments that you might have. And also, if you would like to see any portion of the Sufin platform demonstrated, please highlight that. Please also feel free to come off mute to ask your questions or to speak your comments. Just before I open up to the floor, I just want to acknowledge Hazel's questions in the chat. What happens if I do not scan the outside of my ID book? Can I still send it? And I'm going to ask more that you speak to that particular question.
Thank you very much for the question. If you do not scan or supply some of the required documents, that will definitely hinder the approval of your account, and that will be delays that you do not want to experience. So please, let's make sure that you submit things, and actually they must also be very clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, can I still resend it if I didn't do it the first time?
Oh, sorry. I was supposed to also cover that ground. Now, if you have not done it, you have an option which I will try and demonstrate on my phone. I'm gonna connect on my phone and just demonstrate. But you actually have an option to get in there and submit some of the required documents. Yeah, I'll demonstrate that. Let's check if there's other conversations and other comments. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Moa. While you are switching between your devices, just to note, I saw Menkosi was off mute. I don't know, do you have any questions or comments?
oh, what I want to know is, can I try to help my community to register? Because I was registered by somebody, so other people want to be registered. So can I help them?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm gonna ask Date Vanto, would you like to take that?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Um, you can register anybody that you want to register, but you need to ask yourself whether you want to get commissions for your registrations, or that is just a voluntary registration. If you want to get commissions for the registrations, then you will have to register another account, which is a merchant account or an agent account. In the merchant account, when you start recruiting them, that is where you will begin to get your commissions. It is encouraged that before people rush to register others, make sure that you know what you're registering them for, and you know what is in for you and in for them, and you are also able to explain in full the reason why they come into this project. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Menkosi. Moa, I see you are on your mobile. You can go ahead with the demonstration. No?
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm gonna try and demonstrate quickly. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if you get into here, my account, I think it's in good state. But you actually can come in here and edit. and I hope I can find it on the cell phone because normally it's not. I'm gonna just quickly try and get into another account that is pending. Apologies for that. I'm gonna do that one. And now, if I want to have this account to correct what could be mistakes, oh my God, yeah, okay. I think it could be that this functionality is not there on the smartphone. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that, but it's actually there in the laptop. Um, let's see, but it's possible to edit it. Please use the laptop or the computer. Connect with the laptop or computer, and we'll just find out how can be done in this instance. Alternatively, maybe we should say, oh yes, even the message seems to be not available. The function here, so you could actually go to help. I think help where there's a help. Functionality somewhere. But let's not waste much time. It does look like the cell phone doesn't have that functionality. Sorry, Lerato. Back to you.
Thank you, Moa. Um, I don't know, are there any other questions or comments? Um, a voice recording for this session is important because of load shedding. These sessions are important. Thank you again, team. Thank you, Gege. Your comment is noted. And just to highlight that tonight's session is recorded. Any other comments, questions? Okay, I am not seeing anybody come off mute. So just to highlight that if you are on your mobile device and you'd like to come off mute, if you touch your screen, your controls for the session will show up and you can unmute yourself there. If you're on a desktop, um, if you look at the bottom of the meeting, all the controls for the session are there. You can unmute yourself there. Okay, so I'm noting Maruth's comments. Thank you, leaders, for this informative meeting. God bless you. And on that note, I am not seeing anybody else come off mute, so I'm going to hand over to Ntatevanto to do closing remarks. And immediately after, more if you can do closing remarks.
I want to say thank you to everybody who has come to our meeting. And I want to say a special thank you to Apostle Keke. I see that you are also in our midst. Thank you for gracing and honoring us in the meeting, and everybody who keeps on coming to these meetings, because these meetings are a revival. They are new every day. My parting shot is we have this instrument to use for cross-border selling to our brothers and sisters. If you notice that in Europe, the cross-border selling that they have of their products is 70%. 70% of products that Europe has, they sell to one another. And in Asia, 60% of products, they sell to one another before they sell them anywhere else. Now, with Africa as the individual 55 states, we sell 84% of our products to outside, to Europe and to America. But to one another, we only sell 16%. Now, it simply means Africans appreciate one another 16%. Europeans appreciate one another 70%. The Asians appreciate one another 60%. The challenge is, are we ready to make the Lumi to bring us to the level where we can at least appreciate one another 50% by selling our products to our African fellow brothers and sisters? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Leader. And my closing remarks are just to highlight the seriousness of Africa's problems. We saw how serious Africa is changed, as we highlight in the beginning of the slides. We people who are sitting in this forum are likely to become the significant decision makers who are going to help this revolution to move forward. Join Lumi and have your own opportunity to gain these free monies that are only available until in the next 2.5 years. So every month that comes and you don't have registration, you are losing a 6.2 Lumi, which is an equivalent of 100 US dollars. But importantly, this is not only to repeat to each other. Let us at least bring one or two new people every single time, because this is really aimed at spreading the word as much as possible under the COVID conditions. Thank you very much. If anyone wants to contact us, our details are in the chat. And if you want to join, please tell the people who invited you here that you want to register. Please, let's not lose this opportunity. In the next 7 days, if you are not registered, you will definitely not have your 6.2 Lumi. Thank you very much, and appreciations to all dignitaries who are joining us, princes and queens and kings and princesses. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good
Uh,
evening, sir.
thank you so much. And I think on that note, I want to just say thank you everyone for your time tonight. Thank you for joining. Thank you for making the effort. And I will therefore adjourn the session at this point. Thank you and good evening.